this video, I showed the beginning of our road trip from Connecticut to Nashville, which included a night in Charlottesville, Virginia, and a morning visit to Monticello, home of Thomas Jefferson. And I shared the art that I made from this inspiration. When we hit the road in Connecticut, spring had not yet sprung, and we watched the world get greener and the trees fill up with buds as we drove south through the day. This first illustration was completed mainly on the road, but when I was home, I added some shading with colored pencil, some extra details, and some silos with Posca pen. After a lunch in Scranton, we were on the road again. We settled into our Charlottesville hotel and hit the pavement to the downtown pedestrian mall, where we had dinner and walked around in the pleasant spring evening. Here's the view that inspired my Charlottesville pedestrian mall illustration. I completed the pencil sketch while on the road, and then I did the rest after I got home. I really loved the early evening light and the lit up yellow lights that were everywhere. There was music playing and a lot of people out and about walking on the paved walkway. So I shaded in colored pencil, and then I went over it in watercolor. I usually do it in the other way around, but I liked how this came out. And then I used this brush pen to add some shading and shadows, and I really liked the kind of dry brush effect I could get on some of the lines.
Welcome to Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson.
Monticello was a short distance away, and I did this sketch in pencil on the road and added the rest of the illustration at home. It was an interesting tour. I especially liked seeing all the artifacts from the Lewis and Clark expedition and seeing all the cutting-edge innovations Jefferson included in his home. There was a copy of Jefferson's Declaration of Independence on display. These words, written by Jefferson, a slave owner, stirred a revolution and led to the founding of my country, a country still suffering from the same rot that was there at its roots. I was curious how the Monticello tour would handle the paradox of Jefferson writing these words, but being a slave owner who fathered children with Sally Hemings, one of his slaves. They addressed it pretty head-on and paid respect to the hundreds of people who lived at Monticello against their will. But then a small slave's cabin was labeled a servant's house, which seemed to be sugarcoating it to me. So I wanted to be sure to include a slave's cabin in the illustration along with the beautiful mansion of Thomas Jefferson. So once I had the illustration planned in pencil, I went over the main lines with fine liner, and then I put some masking fluid over the spots where I would have some red tulips later on. I made 3 watercolor washes, in blue for the sky area, brown for the buildings area, and green for the ground. But I was very loose with it, just giving a mood and a background and not worrying about where the exact lines were. Then I used a fountain pen to add black ink to a lot of the important lines, and I added a lot of dark shading as well for where all of the main shadows would be. And then the ink is water soluble, so I went over in some spots with a little bit of water to blur the lines and create darker shadows. It was really fun too, because you can lift the ink from one spot and give a very light gray wash to other spots by using this technique. I rubbed off the masking fluid, which revealed the original white paper underneath, and then I added some red for the tulips, which were in bloom during our visit. And then I also added a little bit of green for the tree buds, and my illustration was complete. We took to the road again and would arrive in Nashville that night, but that's the topic for the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in Nashville.